Hi everyone, my name is Tori, and the somatic practice that I have chose to research this semester was the Feldenkrais Method. I initially picked this method because Feldenkrais was a word that stood out to me when I first seen it. I had never seen it. I didn't even know how to pronounce it, but I now know that the proper way to pronounce it is Feldenkrais. I also am aware that this method is actually named after the person who started it, Mojar Feldenkrais. And while he wore many hats, he initially started this practice after having a personal knee injury himself. One thing that really stood out to me about this practice was that there's actually two ways to do this practice. You can either do it individually, which is also known as functional integration, or you can do it as a group, and that is known as awareness through movement. And in these settings, whether you chose to do the functional integration and or the awareness through movement, you are basically instructed to do certain movements by an instructor. Initially, when I first started this research, I planned to do it every other day. However, with my busy schedule, I had to reduce it, and I got down to 3 times a month. I had the pleasure of finding a Feldenkrais Center in San Francisco, a movement center, where they offer in-person and online classes. And surprisingly, the classes were pretty cheap. It was only $20. After researching, I learned that to have this method, it usually can cost a lot of money, and I feel like that's why it's not really known. And on top of that, the instructors have to have a minimum of 8 hours in order to be able to lead this type of practice. One thing I would say after doing the Feldenkrais practice was, at first, it was really hard for me to focus. I was so giggly and it was really hard to focus. And oftentimes I feel like when you're moving a lot, you really don't, you don't think about your body and how important it is. But after doing the Feldenkrais method, I was able to learn things about myself that I didn't know before. I initially started this research trying to break a habit that I have. While I haven't completely broke the habit, I would have to say that this method has definitely helped me reduce my habit. And when I feel anxiety or overstimulated, it's something that I now know to think about. And I really liked it because the Feldenkrais Movement Center, they, once you pay for the class one time, you can always log in and you have access to the platform. I really enjoy doing the Feldenkrais method, and I look forward to doing other somatic practices. I just feel like, exercise is a thing that's really normalized. While there are a lot of gyms throughout San Francisco, there are other ways that we can take care of our bodies. And I just appreciate that I had the ability to learn about the Feldenkrais practice while doing this research. And I plan to implement it more in my life and also share the knowledge that I have obtained with others so that other people can be more aware of that there's other ways to improve your overall well-being. Another thing that I would like to say is that I never understood how much the body holds memory and how it's so easy to just go, 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 go. And I feel like that was one thing that really stood out to me once I did the somatic practice, that like I had to literally unwind and calm down and be okay with being instructed to do movements. It's very important, and I just appreciate this class.